to my review for Lights Out. Lights Out is based off of a short film that came out a few years ago, about 2.5 minutes, and it's basically the idea that when you turn the lights on, you're safe, but when you turn the lights off, there's this weird creature that will be watching you and trying to kill you. So that is the fairly basic premise to this movie, because that's not really what this movie is all about, but if you just know that, you'll like it a lot more, because that's all I knew going into this movie, and I really enjoyed it. Lights Out doesn't really star anybody famous, and it's a very micro-budget film. It doesn't have a big budget, it's very small, and it works perfectly that way, because this is a really good horror movie. It's very, very creepy. It's just, the idea of lights on, you're safe, lights off, you're not. Just that idea alone sounds creepy, and they execute it to the screen perfectly. And it's such a simple idea that you're not sure it can fit across an hour-and-a-half movie and make a solid structure. But trust me, they did, and they did a great job of keeping it creepy and also having a good story along with it, because this movie actually has a solid story, which I really liked. They could have just gone the simple route and not have had any structure and just basically been trying to go for scares, but that's not what the movie did. It had a story, and the story was actually pretty well done. And the whole theme of the movie is loneliness. And I really, really liked that theme. It was very well executed. The director, I'm forgetting his name right now, but David Sandberg, I believe. He did a really, really good job at expressing the idea of loneliness and everything about it. That was a really well done aspect. And all of the characters, usually in a horror movie like this, you get a lot of cliche characters. The characters are stupid, the characters are dumb, they don't make good decisions, they have no backstory. That's not what this movie is at all. The characters are cliches of what you would believe. There's a mom, there's a young son, there's the sister, and there's the boyfriend. I mean, those are basically the cliche horror tropes. But they all have depth to them, which I really, really liked, especially the girlfriend's, the sister's boyfriend. He was a really, really good character, and I did not expect that, because usually that character is the throwaway character that is just used to be killed. And I really, really liked that he was actually a great character. And the ending, too. Not all of the ending, but I mean, like, the ending, as in any horror movie, there's this big thing, the big creepy event that's going on that's trying to get you to be super scared before the movie ends. And of course that works out well, and that's usually what horror movies do, but in this one they have something at the end of the movie that wasn't very predictable, which I really liked. I didn't really see it coming, and the more and more I'm thinking about it, the less and less I'm liking it, but just off of pure reaction, I liked what they did at practically the very ending of the film. Now, as I said, that wasn't predictable. However, the rest of the movie does not follow suit, because this is a very, very predictable movie. Most everything, it's not a cliche movie, it's just predictable. You can see a lot of the things coming from, I don't know, maybe a mile away, and not necessarily a mile away, but you can see it coming, and that was hard to get through. That was a little hard to see on screen, because I love it when a horror movie will be completely unpredictable, and that usually makes a horror movie a great horror movie. But that's, to me, the predictability of a horror movie is what separates the good and the bad. And this one, it's good, it's a good horror movie, but I think if it wasn't as predictable, this could be a great movie. Also, the jump scares are not well used in this movie. I mean, I love it when a jump scare will show you what's happening first, and then the jump scare will happen, because then it's not necessarily a jump scare, and I really like that. However, there's a right way to use that and a wrong way to use that, and this movie does not use that correctly. I did not like that. And also, this movie sort of feels like 2 in 1. It almost feels like there's the creepy aspect of it, and there's the story aspect of it. And they do eventually do a good job intertwining it towards the end of the movie, or more like the last act, but really, throughout the beginning of the movie, the first 2 acts or so, they felt completely different, and there was constantly tone changes, and that took me out of the movie. But overall, Lights Out is a really enjoyable movie. I think it's one of the best horror films that we've gotten all year, one of the best Riker budget films, and unlike The Forest and The Boy, which those are 2 films that I liked at first, and the more and more I thought about, the more and more I disliked, because they're good right as they happen, and if you don't think about them, then you'll be fine. But those movies, The Boy and The Forest, when just continuously thinking about them, you realize how dumb and stupid they are. But however, I don't think Lights Out will be one of those. I think that this will be a movie that, upon more thought, will either be the same or it will get better. And it's rare to see that. So I'm really glad that Lights Out will probably be providing that. So overall, my score for Lights Out will be a 6.5 out of 10. I'd recommend it. It's a really good horror movie. It came out at the right time because obviously it's been doing great at the box office, but there's so many giant blockbusters going on right now, and there's not many horror movies. So this is definitely a great horror movie to go see. Alright, that concludes my review. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.